people who know that this society and the direction that it's going in is not the right direction are going to be coming to Islam. The world has divided into two. One is Islam and those who want to destroy that and destroy society. Look, Islam will enter every household, whether you like it or not. Donald Trump, inshallah, soon you will see we have a plan in place to go visit him and call him toward Islam. Inshallah, if Biden is awake, we'll also go and visit him, inshallah. And others, Brother Bobby, may Allah make it soon, inshallah, we'll be seeing his shahada. And others.
Liar, you are a liar, but you can hide your face, it's so revealing. Liar. For instance, you could have material pumped into our stratosphere. That material could reflect the sun's rays or solar energy all the way back to the sun, meaning that we down here are kept cooler. That is a very basic, rudimentary understanding of solar geo.
You have to choose now between Davos or Westminster.
Davos.
Why?
Because Westminster is too constrained. You know, it's closed. And once you get out of Westminster, whether it's Davos or anywhere else, you actually engage with people that you can see working with in the future. Westminster is just a tribal shouting.
If you thought that the two-tier sentencing guidelines that discriminate against white Christian men was bad, this is just as bad. It's another revelation about the Sentencing Council. They've done their first guidance around immigration cases. It's in draft form, but it creates a ridiculous situation where illegal migrants who are convicted of serious offences are going to have their sentences watered down against the will of Parliament and against the wishes of most people in this country. And in many cases, they're going to be watered down to the point where the sentences are actually below the threshold for automatic deportation. And so if you're below 12 months, normally there would be a requirement on the Home Secretary to get you out of the country. They're watering down the sentences to the point where that isn't going to happen, and they're likely, therefore, to remain in the country.
I like to travel to other countries to see what it's like there. Let me tell you a very short story from the little village of Dundrum, Ireland. It's a village of 200 people. It's the prettiest place you ever see in your life. And there's one sort of hotel country club in town where everyone goes for their cycle of life events. Gorgeous. 200 people in the whole town. And then one day the hotel signs a deal with the federal government. It's not going to be a hotel and country club anymore. It's going to take 240 military-aged migrant men. So they shut down the tourism, shut down the social hub of the town, and in one fell swoop, the Irish are now a minority in Dundrum.
That's
Who are these men? How long are they staying? All this is secret. It's the most astonishing thing. And who's pushing for this? U.S.-funded NGOs. There's over 100,000 in this tiny island of Ireland with 5 million souls. And I say again, why is that interesting?
Disgraceful, you're disgraceful, you're so delusional, you're terrible, irresponsible.
The guy that Tony Blair sent out to do an inspection on nuclear weapons came back and he said he hasn't got any nuclear weapons. Okay, so he sent him out again, the same guy, came back, wrote a report. Saddam Hussein has got no nuclear capable biological weapons at all. Okay. 2 weeks later, he was found a mile away in the wood near where he lived. This guy was committed suicide. His wrist was slit. And he was propped up against a tree. And when the police arrived, he was flat out away from the tree. And the autopsy said the slits in his wrist would not have killed him. They weren't deep enough. And there was no blood around him at all. And then a month later, we went to Iraq, saying he's got capable nuclear biological weapons. I'll leave that with you.
Nothing yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. Here's something that you
We've heard today that the Chief Constable of West Yorkshire Police is no longer going to accept applications to join from white young men. This is a disgrace. They want applications from ethnic minorities only. Only reform is going to put a stop to this nonsense.
There's a fuckload of 50-year-olds that think their life is over, that think it's over because they've been playing for 30 years professionally. They're tired. They've been an accountant for 30 years. They hate it, but they don't see any way out because they don't realize that they can do a blog, because they don't realize they're a great writer, and if they did 14 Medium posts, they can blow up. And so I'm on a mission to get them to understand that there's still 30, 40 years of amazing things. Modern health. These people are going to be healthy for another 30 years. 30. You know how much shit you can get done in 30 years, Avi? You were 14 30 years ago, Av. That's correct. How old are you? 23. You were fucking -7, motherfucker. This motherfucker was -7.
In 1983, at the start of one of the world's toughest ultra-marathons, a 540-mile trek from Sydney to Melbourne, a farmer showed up dressed in overalls and galoshes. When reporters asked who he was, he replied that his name was Cliff Young. He was 61 years old and often ran for 3 days straight while chasing sheep on his farm. So he was confident he could run the 5 days needed to cover the distance. The other participants were elite runners from around the world, sponsored by major sports brands, most of them under 30. Runners typically ran for 18 hours and slept for 6 to cover the distance. However, it was discovered the day after the race started that Cliff Young had run through the entire night without sleeping. 5 days, 15 hours, and 4 minutes later, he finished first in this grueling race, beating his nearest competitor by 10 hours. He admitted he didn't even know runners could sleep during the race. Cliff declined the $10,000 prize money and shared it among the next 5 runners who finished after him. He became an Australian national hero and an ultra-marathon icon, exemplifying how determination, perseverance, and unconventional thinking can overcome any physical challenge. Follow to learn something new every day.
Hey guys, Steve here. And I don't know if you saw a report yesterday or an interview with Ed Miliband by Sky's, I think it's called Wilfred Frost. And is this the moment that the lies are going to start to be exposed? It turns out that energy companies are taxed 78% on their profits. So overinflating the prices that them companies then have to pass on to the customer because they've got to make profit, right? So the government are deliberately overtaxing the energy companies, which he openly admits is 78%. But then he starts with the bullshit. He starts then thinking, uh-oh, I've been busted, what do I say? And just comes out with a load, oh, that's not true. It's just simply not true. It's the wholesale prices are governed by Russia, whatever he wants to say. You'll see in a minute. I've got you the clip, the interview. So let me know what you think. Has the lie been exposed? Because no company can survive getting taxed 78% without increasing their prices, right? If Asda put their prices up or got taxed 78%, our food would be unaffordable because the companies have got to make profit. That's what they're there for. Have a look at this clip and tell me that he's been busted and there's no way that he can get out of this one.
Energy companies in this country are taxed at 78% on energy profits. That pushes up prices too.
No, that's wrong. And look,
it's not 78%.
It is 78%, but it's not.
Whereas obviously regular corporate tax is 25%.
It's really important to make this point. Oil and gas is set. The price of oil and gas is set on the international market. The reason why
that's the raw commodity price, in the same way that the prices of batteries is set on the raw, the raw commodity price.
It's not set by the tax rate on UK companies. Is what I'm saying. It's set by the global price. You see,
I understand that, but you're saying that tax rates don't impact pricing.
I'm saying that in relation to oil and gas, they don't, because the truth is that the price for our oil and gas is set internationally. And let me explain. Let me just, if you just let me make the point. Why did prices go through the roof when Russia invaded Ukraine? Right, well, our prices went through the roof, even though we imported a very small amount from Russia. That's because whether the gas was coming from the North Sea or internationally, it was priced on the international market. That's why we're in the grip of fossil fuel markets controlled by others, petrostates and exchanges. And that wasn't about the UK tax rate. The UK tax rate could have been cut or higher, and it wouldn't have made an impact.
That's a separate point.
Yeah.
The floating price of commodities is a legitimate but separate point. Another point for why this country has unbelievably high energy prices is that we tax our energy companies.
You're wrong. I'm really sorry, but you're wrong about that because the price is set internationally. I'm really sorry, but that's not correct.
Okay, well, let's put commodities aside. If you increase taxes on supermarkets to 78%...
It depends whether it's...
If you increase taxes on supermarkets to 78%, what would happen to the price of food?
It depends.
What would happen to the price of food?
It depends whether it's a domestic market where the price is set domestically.
This is a globally unquestionable factor about economics. You're right that your point also applies. You can't flatly deny my point.
I am denying your point when it comes to the question of these internationally set prices. That's the point I'm making.
If you lowered the tax of 78% on energy companies to the regular...
On oil and gas companies, it wouldn't make a difference to the price. In fact...
Yes, it would.
I'm afraid it wouldn't because...
Military parade marking the 80th anniversary of VE Day is refused by council for being too elite. Why do we have councils? Let's see what it says. So Hertfordshire's Dacorum Borough Council has come under fire for failing to put on a march to commemorate the end of the Second World War in Europe on May 8th. Well, it's because they don't want to show that Europeans actually showed a bit of resistance and fought for something. But I'm sure they'll happily have someone go through their streets saying, "Free PlayStation 5." Let's see what else it says, these fuckwits. So flabbergasted councillors blasted the Liberal Democrat run authority, fucking hell, not Labour for a change, after it urged locals to instead stage their own street parties to mark the special anniversary. Cultural Secretary Lisa Nandy today spoke to the decision by Dacorum, telling LBC's Nick Ferrari it's ridiculous to say that VE Day is elitist. That's actually insane to hear from, especially from a council. People... VE Day is a commemoration and honouring of the sacrifice of ordinary men and women of working class backgrounds across the whole country in order to secure our freedom. This will be the last VE Day, potentially, where people have the opportunity to hear from the surviving veterans and honour the sacrifice they made. The idea that it's elitist is absolutely ridiculous. People, there's outside there, you know what I want to say. You know exactly what I want to say. But I think the actual... if you're in that area, you should fucking do a demonstration. You should protest against this kind of stuff because that is insane to actually hear talking about World War II soldiers. They're elitist, apparently. I can't.
This is every reason not to vote for Labour in the upcoming local elections, purely based on their performance since gaining office just 10 months ago. And before I start, make sure you share this video with friends and family that either aren't quite sure what to do or don't do their own research so they can at least make an informed decision. So firstly, they pledged to smash the gangs but allowed record numbers of illegal immigrants into the country. Now, some people will make the point that they've also sent the most immigrants home, but this is all funded by you, the taxpayer, and wouldn't be necessary if they didn't arrive in the first place. And so, on the topic of tax, despite halving our country's growth, Labour had the audacity to raise council taxes, raise national insurance contributions, hit farmers with a new inheritance tax, force the closure of private schools by introducing VAT, couldn't promise there wouldn't be an increase on employee income tax, and even hit our military with a death in service payment tax. Disgusting. They pledged to build 1.5 million homes but aren't on target for it already. They've borrowed record sums of money into the tens of billions to pay for useless wind farms, and to send $3 billion to Ukraine yearly indefinitely. All this money, yet they claim they had to scrap winter fuel payments for 10 million vulnerable pensioners, and wouldn't pay to issue an inquiry into the grooming gangs. Strange. They covered up the Southport incident and then jailed people for making online comments for longer than people committing actual violent crimes. And they then released real criminals early, some of which have already reoffended. They interfered with US elections, then lied about Joe Biden being fit for office a week before Biden stepped down due to his obvious mental decline in his debate against Trump. They beefed Elon Musk for some reason, gave away the Chagos Islands, got exposed for cronyism and fraudulating CVs, spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on private jets and dinners to attend conferences around the world, and finally, to round off the video, they cancelled local elections in areas they knew they were going to perform badly in. And they really tried to claim like we have free speech in this country.
Official migrant crime tables are set to be published in the UK, and all the right people are mad about it.
I don't know what else this is designed to do, but to feed hatred.
Or it could be about discovering who's committing crimes so we can, try and stop them.
Are they going to publish the fact that the massive, massive, massive majority of crimes committed in this country are committed by non-foreigners? Just in terms of simple statistics?
Simple statistics like per capita. Simple statistics like foreign nationals being 71% more likely to commit sexual assault. Simple statistics like all these nationalities having far higher conviction rates than British citizens, where black suspects account for 48% of murders, despite only being 13% of the population. Despite making up 60% of the population, whites accounted for only 24% of murder suspects in London. As per usual, O'Brien is talking straight out of his arse.
Oi, get your fucking fingers out the koi carp pond. What are you doing? You trying to eat them? You're eating koi carp out the pond, fella. No, stop eating my fucking fish. Stop eating fish out the pond. You fucking freaks. Leave the fucking fish alone. Oi, yo, leave the fish alone. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, man.
They've pushed down, they've butchered and slaughtered their way through the north, and now they're pushing into the central part of Nigeria. There's at least, I believe, 3 parts of the Nigerian Federation where Sharia law is being implemented. There's widespread persecution of Christians in northern Nigeria. They're being killed in their tens of thousands, Liam. The world doesn't care.
The world doesn't know.
If the Western liberal Guardianista media wanted to put a spotlight on it, they could. They're making a deliberate choice not to. I mean, they do it with Palestine and Israel. But the reason why they're not focusing on the story in northern Nigeria is because it doesn't fit the liberal narrative.
A group of vigilante Londoners are making a massive impact right now. What they do is they destroy certain cameras in London which aim to capture people's number plates and charge them £12.50 a day for their cars not meeting certain environmental standards. They are referred to as the Blade Runners.
Within 24 hours, 2 judges in America have been arrested by the Trump administration. The first judge in Wisconsin, this is what happened. An illegal immigrant was on trial for domestic violence and battery assault for beating up a man and a woman so badly that they were both hospitalized. These people got in a fight over music that was being played too loud. Well, the judge overheard that ICE was outside waiting for this man to get him. So the judge brought the man in and his lawyer and said, "Hey, get out of here now. ICE is waiting for you." In the courtroom, the 2 victims were waiting for this trial to begin, and all of a sudden the man is gone. The judge literally let this man escape. This man was deported from America in 2013, came back into America illegally, which alone is a felony, but this judge let him go free. Another judge, this one in New Mexico, has been arrested for literally letting a member of the dangerous Venezuelan gang live in his home. The judge is pleading innocent, saying he had no idea that this man was a member of the gang. Remember how they all said that nobody is above the law?
Oh my God. This is downright disgraceful. There will be no, I repeat, no 80th anniversary VE Day event in Poole run by a Lib Dem council. They say they just don't have the money to fund the celebration for veterans. Oh, but wait, they did have enough money to employ a new council chief executive and give them a salary of £205,178 a year. So now, Poole will not be able to mark the anniversary on the 8th of May. A spokesman for the Lib Dem Council said, and I quote, "We simply don't have the money available to put anything on. But officials will light a beacon outside the town hall in Bournemouth." Well, that's okay then. But guess what? This man's team have jumped all over it, saying it's a disgrace and the people of Poole deserve better. Yeah, mate, like the entire population of this country need better than what you're doing anyway. So don't try and win sympathy votes this way, mate. We all know that you don't give a damn anyway, if the truth be known.
Since when did wearing the Union Jack make you a terrorist? Because that's exactly what the British police just portrayed in a recent counter-terror training exercise. In a mock riot, one of the violent extremists was seen wearing a Union Jack armband, our national flag, used as a symbol of domestic extremism. Let that sink in. They could have chosen anything: a pro-Palestinian scarf, a radical climate protest badge, a communist hammer and sickle, but no, they chose the flag of this nation. The same flag draped over coffins of our war heroes, the flag flown at the Queen's Jubilee, the flag that represents every single one of us. Now it's been painted as something dangerous, as a warning sign. This is not a coincidence. This is deliberate. They're demonising British pride. Patriotism is being recast as extremism right in front of our eyes. And if you dare to love your country, if you fly your flag, you're the villain now. It's time to say enough. The Union Jack is not a threat. It's our heritage, our honor.
This Labour government has delivered 2 million extra NHS appointments since July. You can't knock them for it. They did exactly what they said they were going to deliver. But let's make sure we're comparing like for like. So Wes here compared July to November 2023 to July to November 2024. What might have been happening in the first period of 2023? Oh no, wait a bit, that's slightly awkward for these Labour claims, because in the first period of 2023, the NHS, God bless them all, angels, every single one of them, were on strike, and a number of appointments were cancelled. I wonder how many appointments were cancelled. Wait a minute, it looks like 2 million. What this government appears to have achieved is a nice piece of PR. They've compared a period of time when the staff were not working with a period of time when they were working, and concluded that the increase of 2 million additional appointments is all down to them.
Wow, some breaking news, folks. Britain's considering exempting Muslim migrants from the draft. What draft? You guys got a draft there we don't know about? Yeah? You planning something by any chance that we don't know about? So, who is this Sir Richard Peter Moore, head of M16? So what is the head of M16 doing talking about exempting people from wars? He's not an admiral, he's not a general, and on the best days cleaning James Bond's boots and giving him a pocket knife to save his life. Yeah, he shouldn't be talking like this. And another thing, Richard, why all of us men are over in Russia and our women and children are sitting in their houses on their own, and all these men that are coming in off dinghies are running through the countryside, who's going to look after them then? You? Because you can't look after them now while we're here, never mind when we're not. So I could guess, just a guess, that most people will never risk leaving their family behind, knowing what's sitting here waiting for them. So sorry